What's up, you nerds? Welcome back to Yellow Spandex.
I jumped the gun with the laugh.
This week we go through all kinds of cool stuff. We start off with The Mandalorian, of course, because it's Disney Plus. But also we got into Josh, help me out. What was it?
We did Mandalorian.
Yes.
We did Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah. All of it. The Marvel stuff.
Which went into Marvel and
Marvel.
and then Charlie's Angels.
And then Charlie's Angels, yeah. And
which we haven't seen, full disclosure.
right, but we had a lot of
about it for an hour.
A lot of information because, like, you know, me and Rod saw her speak at AT&T Shape, so there's a lot of things in this conversation.
We also got off like articles and stuff of because it didn't do very well.
That's right.
At least the first weekend.
And Vince and I saw Ford versus Ferrari, but we didn't talk about that. So let us know in the comments if you do want us to talk about it next time.
That's right.
Because I wanted to see it. I don't want you to spoil it for me.
Such a good movie. Well, there's not much to spoil if you already know the story. Anyway.
All of that coming up on Yellow Spandex.
Vince and I are fresh off of, and Josh said he also watched the second episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to get into spoiler territory for that, only because, like, it's an ongoing thing. I don't know how many people are caught up, and so many people are purposely spoiling that online. Yeah. It's, like, upsetting. Like, luckily, we've kept up, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I haven't caught it. I think the closest thing is, I didn't know it was a spoiler with I don't want to spoil for anybody. There's a sidekick in this series that they clearly kind of in episode 2, like, cemented is going to be a sidekick.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of them before the first episode. I saw the first episode.
Yeah. And
I thought it was just kind of like a given. And then I realized when I watched the first episode, oh, that was like the culminating like moment, you know, and stuff's like, oh, yeah, that's kind of a screwy thing to do. Like in the first 24 hours, something is like out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, mild spoilers. I mean, there's a little baby. I'm sure you've seen it if you've seen anything. So there's like a little baby Yoda, which is not, it isn't Yoda. It's like one of his species.
Yeah, what is the species?
There is no species for it.
What?
So yeah, absolutely 100% no species for name for the Yoda.
So our friend, but so also since we dove into it, that's the sidekick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I guess I spoiled what you were thinking. I thought you were talking about the old man. I thought he'd come back.
Oh, gotcha.
Those pictures are everywhere, dude. I mean, I posted a meme yesterday with that. I mean,
yeah, it just threw me because, like, I think the first day Disney Plus was available, I saw those pictures all over the internet and of the little Yoda thing, and I was like, I thought it was just like something that existed in the universe, and then I realized that was like the culminating moment of like the first episode.
Yeah, the end.
It was
of
like, oh wow, we didn't even like a day go by, you know, like
Game of Thrones is the same way.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, it was like night of. They're like, oh my gosh.
I guess I don't recognize them because I don't watch Game of Thrones, so they probably happened a bunch in my timeline, and I just didn't, you know, whatever.
People were just spoiling the crap out of that, dude. So I'm not even joking.
With the Yoda thing,
it's terrible.
Our friend Atomic Mari, I was talking to her and her husband Peter for a little while about it, and I was like, what do you think this means? You know, especially, I don't know if they are hardcore Star Wars fans. They're definitely in the camp that don't like Last Jedi, so that probably leans more to hardcore Star Wars fans. Because I was like, I had fun. They had this, or Mari had this concept of like, what if it's like Baby Groot? You know, like it's kind of the same, but not the same. You know, it's like a different, like, you know, it's like weird. It's like,
oh, it's like a clone,
kind of, in a sense, or like a, it's like that. You know, it's like a Neo or something. You know, it's like the one. You know, like that position is filled.
There are other Yoda species within the extended universe, and they're generally, I think they have 2 brains, is what I read, and that they are just naturally good at the Force.
Yeah.
They didn't but apparently he doesn't have the midi-chlorian count that Anakin had, but they're just naturally good, and they're not like, you know.
It was just interesting that this one, they made him look so much like Yoda. If they were trying to like, because the other one looks vaguely in the same race. That was in the prequels, I think. The other Yoda.
I don't know if I saw another one.
This new Yoda is the first time we've seen like a baby Yoda.
No, but there was another. The only other time you saw a Yoda, something in the Yoda species, was in like the prequels. I think.
I don't even remember if there was one in the prequels.
It was somewhere because there was one other time.
I've seen like
it was in the
because they've had other extended universe stuff. I don't think there's.
I think it was in the prequels.
I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched the prequels, but
yeah, it's funny the you know, George Lucas, you're right, he opted to have many details of the character's life. I'm reading this thing. So he's basically saying that they gave a bunch of information but never disclosed the species
Someone
is
tried to
unknown.
write like a bit about the species once, and then he came back in, or some other one came back in and like put a like kibosh on it. It was like, oh, that was wrong, just because he wanted to purposefully keep it vague, which is kind of cool. I like that.
There's this.
Sorry, I just pulled up this article. It says Disney made it official. We can talk about this Mandalorian character now and his Baby Yoda. Okay, so we have Disney's permission. I don't know what that's referring to. I'm like looking for the time because I saw a picture of it and it was in one of the movies.
Yeah.
In one of the main Star Wars movies, there's another person in Yoda species that shows up. And I think it's female, but doesn't look exactly like Yoda. Like looks like in the same race, and maybe it's because she's female. But like this one, it just like looks so much like Yoda, you know. Mm-hmm. But also, someone did the timeline, and they were like, since Baby Yoda's like 50 years old, then it happened. What's it? Sometime during the prequels,
50 or 70 years old.
50.
50.
Yeah.
50 years old, and so that means he was born sometime in the prequels before Yoda died.
Makes sense, I suppose.
So it's not even necessarily like a.
It could be his
torch.
kid.
Yeah, like.
But
how does
Jedi though? Like Yoda is like a super duper Jedi, and he's gonna follow the code, and the code is no attachments. So
someone mentioned that they're like, but what if they change that for this?
I mean, the code is no attachments. It's still no attachments in the movies and in the Clone Wars cartoon, which they kind of drive it deep.
The only reason I say that is because
Obi-Wan kind of doesn't get with a girl because of it.
The only reason I say that is because I didn't stick my ground last time this kind of came up with a Disney property, and it ended up being right. So, and it sucks because it was on a live stream on Instagram and it just evaporated into the universe.
Nice.
But I was on, Scott Nicewander was doing a little live stream on his personal Instagram, and he was like, let's just talk about endgame theories, which actually surprised me because he usually hates like theories of any sort or whatever. And I was like, man, what if, and this is literally almost like a little bit less than a year, like shortly after Infinity War came out, everybody's talking about it. It's like, man, what if whatever happens, Cap goes back in time and gets his dance with Agent Carter? And he was like, see, the reason that won't happen for sure is because it's so quintessentially against Captain America's character to ever end his duties. He would never retire. That's like the one thing he would never do.
I would agree with him on that. However, he was coming to the end of Chris Evans' thing, so that makes more sense.
So I just kind of like, oh, okay, sure, maybe they won't do that. I guess for sure not going to do that. And then the movie ended. I texted him like, "Damn it, Scott, I was fucking right." Like, in not even like I wanted to be right sort of way. I was just like, man, wouldn't it be beautiful? Like, you know, he gets that dance and stuff. Because one of the things I emotionally connected with Cap in previous movies was, you know, when Peggy died. And, you know, she's like, I never got my dance, whatever. And then he got the vision in Age of Ultron, but getting that dance. Like, oh man, he needs to get the dance with Peggy, even if it's like he goes back in time and does it or whatever and stuff. And I got shot down by like the comic book masters, and then it ended up being the one thing that happened at the very end. Like that was how the whole thing ended, not just a section. Right. The entire movie ended with that. So I'm just saying, I don't know if it's Disney or whatever. Disney, they tend to take like the layman's, because I consider myself like a lay fan of Star Wars. You know, it's like, oh, that would make sense. You know, he's just like, man, like love broke through so hard. Yoda just did it. Maybe that was his mistake. Maybe that's why he died.
Because Favreau did this. Yeah. I feel like he has maybe more of a stronger connection to the lore. Yeah. So I feel like maybe he wouldn't do that. And you know, I don't know.
You know,
I just don't know though.
Funny, the word lore reminds me of this situation with the Yoda species in Mandalorian. Maybe the reason John wrote it all in is because of how mysterious and unknown. Yeah. So we may be getting to learn way more about Yoda species than we think.
And it's nice because it's like, you know, last time I was talking, like Star Wars needs something that's not along the Skywalker line to kind of bring it out of its meh.
It's funny.
And so we have, you know, the Mandalorian, which is doing really well, but it still has that little, like the little Baby Yoda thing shows up and you're like, it still has that little bit of attachment. So you're like, oh, okay. So, something new and something old.
Yeah. You know? Another thing that I just kind of thought of was, because I've actually been waiting like for this in the Mandalorian, because every time a Star Wars property releases, there's some big controversy with like the fans, and I'm wondering like what that will be. And then just now I thought like, what if it is that Yoda had a romantic relationship?
I think they would throw a fit about that.
So
far the fans love it though.
Yeah. So there's a conflicted thing. Like, oh, we hated it, but it's so cute. Like,
Or
like,
if
I wonder if
it's
that's
like,
the thing they'll throw in there, you know?
or if we learn that there are like, or they're both, so they just choose to be like male or female whenever, and then they procreate. They all procreate.
Yeah, I don't know
They're
if
like
they have a lot
they're like
about their
amoebas.
sexuality.
Wouldn't that be- no, well, we're throwing theories out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be right. I don't know.
I'm still looking for this other one.
Then I'll be like Rod, like a month from now. I knew it. No, not a month from now, but
It was the baby
it
clone.
was that.
Well, a little less than a month, or a little more than a month, because it's what, like a day after Christmas or 2 days after Christmas, this whole thing ends.
Oh yeah,
The first
yeah,
season
yeah.
ends. Because I think it's the 27th.
How many shows are there?
8 episodes in this
Oh, only
first
8. Jeez.
series, supposedly. But we also don't know if they're going to get longer, because someone had a theory that there's going to be like Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
where like they're only as long as they need to be. You know, so like these first 2 stories were kind of like, you don't want to see. Minor spoilers for the second episode. There's Jawas in it. You know how much of a Jawas like like story. You know, like them tearing a ship apart story. Do you really want to see? You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a little like there's some parts in it that feel like they're slow,
Yeah.
but I didn't mind it. You know, I don't know if you guys feel that at all.
Well, for me,
I feel like it's quiet and it feels like it's just slow.
I like slow stories like that
Yeah.
though.
for me, it's literally, I say it every single podcast we talk about it. All I want is to see more of this universe. So being able to be inside of the cockpit of the Jawa ship, I literally like had a little, freaked out, man.
That's
I
fun.
freaked out. It was like an anxiety attack, but I liked it.
But I liked it.
Yeah, but it was enjoyable somehow.
Well, like so another thing that was on Disney Plus was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from the 50s.
Yeah.
I cannot really recommend it to anybody right now as kids because it's long and slow.
Yeah.
But I like stuff like that. Like I love Jules Verne novels, and I think people who say like, "Oh, I love Journey to the Center of the Earth," I'm like, that's how I know you didn't read the book. Because me and like 3 other people actually like the books because like they're great in theory, but like I don't know, have you ever read the full novels?
not.
So like there's I think it was Journey to the Center of the Earth. There's a chapter where they're crossing the desert. They spend a whole chapter just talking about packing the horse, and I loved it. Or maybe it was a camel. I can't remember. They were like, we need to put this thing on here, and it not like short chapter, like 50 or 60 pages of like why it's important to pack this horse. And then there's like this whole part where like they're falling to the center of the earth, and I guess we don't really get the gravity of this, no pun intended, in like the movies and stuff. But the earth is like a lot of distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're falling for like weeks.
Weeks.
They just live like that. They fall asleep falling. Like they wake up, they go in and out of depression and keep each other like encouraged and everything when things are happening and stuff. And there's chapters and chapters and chapters of them falling and stuff. And it's like, I'm like, I love the detail because it's kind of like living in that world, you know, like Vince said. But like, I like that in the Mandalorian. It's not that bad in the Mandalorian.
No.
But I like that, like, you see him walk from point A to point B.
Yeah.
He's frustrated. He like tripped over something. I feel like I learned so much about the character in that. And the fact that like, he's very clearly established, like he doesn't know what he's doing really. He's like good.
He's a newbie-ish.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's skilled,
Yeah.
but he's not like Boba Fett level yet. Or
Yeah.
if he was, he kind of lost his nerve about it, you know?
I was just thinking like books compared to the movies, and that Journey to the Center of the Earth, the detail in that book compared to what they put in the movie.
Well, also the movie is like never
It's like a 70s movie, isn't it?
the Journey to the Center. I think I remember. I know like 20,000 Leagues happened in the 50s. I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised if some similar time frame. Those are even a little bit more exciting. But every Jules Verne thing usually adapts something. Like
I love
even the one with the Rock, or it was the Rock?
No, as
No,
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser. I just assume it's the Rock.
that's this generation.
No, it was the second one was the Rock, wasn't it?
Was he in the second one? I don't
Maybe.
know.
I don't know. There was a second one. I was like, how did you went back? Like, well, anyway, the first one with Brendan Fraser, like, it was a fun movie. Virtually nothing came from the book. Maybe some names. I can't remember.
Was it a 3D movie? I felt like it
yeah.
came out during that 3D
Oh, yeah. I
reprisal.
I remember because when it's not even in the parts that you think. Like, you think, oh, it's going to be cool. We're going to see, like, the dinosaurs and light and stuff. Well, I was thinking, so in the book, they describe something that they never do in the movies. In the book, they say when they get to the center of the earth, the light doesn't come from a central source. The air is like luminescent.
Okay.
So it's kind of like living in a soft box. It's just like the moisture or something in the air is just like overall like illuminating things. So they're trying to like say like it's different because we're so used to lights coming from like a light bulb in the sun and stuff from a very directional standpoint. This is like everything's just kind of like illuminated. I forget why I brought that up. I think like when Brendan Fraser gets like in there, they don't describe that. Like
We're talking about the 3D.
Oh, okay. So I thought that like 3D would be a good way to like make that kind of happen, right? Because Avatar was very much an immersive 3D instead of like a shoo like 3D. And so I was like, well, what are the engineers going to do? Are they going to make like it feel like the air around us is like 3-dimensional stuff? No, it was like Brendan Fraser brushed his teeth, he spit in the sink, and we saw the point of view of the drain and then the spit coming down at your face. I was like, that's that millions of dollars technology right there.
It was right after Spy Kids.
Like, okay.
Oh, this is what. Okay. So, yeah, The Rock is the 3D one.
Okay.
And the Brendan Fraser one is from 2008. But I don't know when this one with The Rock came out. It looks like it was pretty recent.
Probably 2012.
Oh, okay. That's why. It's Journey to the Center of the Earth 2. Or no. It's called... Yeah. Okay. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah. So Star Wars Episode 1's Phantom Menace had Yaddle, who was...
Yeah, with the
someone
hair.
else from Yoda's race.
Okay,
But like you can tell she's from the same race, but she doesn't look identical to Yoda, you know?
Yeah.
So like that's what's interesting to me is they went out of their way to make this look like a carbon copy, like kind of like Groot, baby Groot, you know, like younger, but it looks like that this Yoda will grow up into the one we knew, even though the timing's all weird and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's this grand. I'm excited because it's Favreau.
Yeah.
So I have high hopes for the reveal.
I mean, I love everything that Favreau's done. I just don't. Yeah. I don't think there's a Favreau movie that I don't like.
I'm trying to think what he's done, especially because he has Ralphie by his side. You know,
Jungle Book.
Yeah. Hold on. We got Jon Favreau movies. He is
Chef. I still want to watch that. I haven't seen it yet. Iron Man.
Swingers, Iron Man.
Oh yeah, Swingers. Swingers. They filmed that at that one of the first venues we visited in LA. What was that little bar called? I can't remember. We saw a friend play there.
He did Cowboys and Aliens. Did you guys watch that?
You know, so Cowboys and Aliens wasn't bad. I didn't know he had anything to do with that. I just wanted more. Because you see a title like Cowboys and Aliens, and you think of like every 8-year-old boy's dream.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It's true. It didn't have that like spaghetti. In fact, the Mandalorian has more of like a westerny feel than that did.
Well, I guess in my head when I saw Cowboys and Aliens, I was expecting like Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Like just ridiculous fun, like lasers, like didn't have to be a good movie.
It's
like,
not Firefly. In fact, Firefly is a little bit more like this Mandalorian kind of thing.
I never watched Firefly.
What?
I know,
You've never seen
everybody
Firefly?
hates me for that.
I've never seen the movie, which everybody's like, you need to see the movie.
Serenity.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it like finishes?
Gotcha. It's the ship.
I haven't seen Firefly, and I haven't seen the reboot of Battlestar Galactica.
I've never watched a single Battlestar Galactica.
I know the original Battlestar was like decades and decades ago.
Yeah.
And then they redid
Reruns
it
everywhere.
They redid it, and the redone ones are the ones we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but I guess it took some like race issues or whatever and adapted them pretty cleverly into the. I don't know. Like it.
I don't know. It just looked like it was like me as a kid seeing it was like, well, that looks like the crappy version of Star Trek. So I mean, Star Trek sometimes is kind of crappy, and this could be way worse. So I don't want to watch it. That's just me as a kid.
Yeah.
So I guess in this one there was like I forget
no Stargate.
What race it is. Like something in Battlestar, like it's kind of like Skrulls. They could be anybody.
Yeah.
And so there's like this like racial tension, but not visual. And it's a really interesting like concept to say. That's all without seeing it, because there's so much crap to watch.
Yeah.
I still can't catch up.
Did you get the little? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just looking. He also did Rudy.
What?
What?
No.
That seems
Or
so
was
early.
Was he in
Rudy?
Rudy? Because this is like his directing and producing thing.
Also,
Is it actor? Let's see what he was in.
G-Force classic.
Gosh.
Wasn't that the one with the gerbils?
Yes.
Okay. Grandpa's funeral. Batman Forever.
He was in Rudy. He was D-Bob. I don't know who that is.
wow.
I've never seen
D-Bob
Rudy,
is-
to be honest.
Couples Retreat. I guess he
I
was in
love
that.
Couples Retreat. It's funny.
But also Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street was a fantastic movie. Batman Forever.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in Batman Forever.
Yeah, apparently he's got a bunch of little tiny roles
Hey,
all over the
everybody,
place.
there's hope. Like, you can go from extra to Iron Man.
Extra to extra.
Did you catch the little Star Wars Christmas special thing that they threw out in The Mandalorian?
So I mentioned that last time. Was that the first time they mentioned Life Day since
Yeah.
the Christmas special?
Yes.
Okay, I mentioned that to Mari as well, Atomic Mari and her husband Peter. I was like, I think they referred to the Christmas special for the first time ever, but I don't know enough to know if that's really the case. I think I said that in the last pod.
I just
and asked people to tell me if there was like another time it had been referenced.
I don't think we'd seen The Mandalorian since the last podcast.
All right, I can't remember. Where did I mention that? I mentioned somewhere on a live stream or something. I was like, someone comment like where, if it had ever been mentioned before, because I don't have enough of a like encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars to know. But like, man, what a crazy small throwaway reference. Like,
Apparently Favreau wants to do a version,
oh yeah, I saw that.
a new version of the holiday special.
It's weird because I feel like I wonder if that would be the thing where like Lucas is like, all right, he like gets out of his like hyperbaric chamber and is like, all right, guys, no. I don't know how I feel about that because it's like you just gotta show me because there's no way you could talk me through it and I'd be like, that's a good idea.
You've seen it, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's the thing is like actually Lee Ray, if you're listening to this or watching this, he's a patron of ours. He kind of found us right before like 2 or 3 Christmases ago. Mm-hmm. And on Christmas, we did a live stream where we watched the Christmas special with subscribers. But since we didn't want to get copyright claimed, we just had everybody start at the same time we did. And we had the thing off camera.
Yeah.
The volume really low and everybody could watch it on one screen and then us on the other. And so now he was like, why don't we do that again? I'm like, we could try. I don't know like what the thing, maybe we could do on Twitch or something.
Isn't it on YouTube? Because I think I watched it on YouTube.
That's how we had everybody watch it.
Okay.
So we, like, here's a link and here's a backup link if that one gets taken down.
See, I don't feel like they would copyright strike you because the whole freaking thing is on YouTube.
We just don't chance it
Okay.
because like copyright strikes, like actual copyright strikes,
Yeah.
are like heavy duty because 3 and you're deleted.
Yeah,
no
I guess
questions
that's
asked.
true, yeah.
So like it's just not like, and it was easy. Everybody like had one window open or whatever. But if we do it on like Twitch or something, it might be just as easy. But he was like, why don't we do a Christmas tradition? I was like, I won't be mad about it if we can figure out the logistics because it's weird because it's not so bad it's good or funny. It's just weird. So like if you're with a group of people that are talking over it, generally I hate people talking over anything you're supposed to be watching or listening to. Mm-hmm. Like my pet peeve of all times, like I will murder you if I'm in the wrong mood, is when someone's like, tell me what you think about this mix. Let me listen to 10 seconds. Okay, so this is the part I tried to shut up. I'm trying to listen to it. Like, you know, or we turn on a movie or something like.
My mom will come into the room all the time. Like if she's ever around a movie because she never sits down for one, she'll be like, so what's going on? Who is this person? Why is this here? And then my dad now will be like, shut up and sit down if you want to watch it.
I feel like I pick on this friend a lot, so I'm not even going to mention their name this time. Just this action. And I'm glad other people were there to witness because I think for a while people thought I was crazy. This friend would not watch the thing that they're watching. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure everybody, like your mom, has a friend like that or something. Yeah. I was with another friend that I don't think we're like completely captivated. Like when I'm in a movie theater, all attention, you know. When I'm at home, depending on how I am, it might be there or it might be kind of fading in and out, but I at least stay to like watch it. So this other friend is kind of like me, and then we're just both trying. I think we were watching like The Haunting of Hill House or whatever, and also like a very detail-oriented show. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Mm-mm. The whole point of it is every single shot in that movie or in that series has a ghost in the background, and there's a lot of small details, and they don't accentuate them all, and that's the whole point of the story. Is like the haunting. Are they crazy? Are they not? Is it happening? Like and stuff. And so there's like a dead body or like a ghost in every shot, but they never highlight it. It's just there.
It's just kind of in the background.
And then the story's kind of happening cumulatively over everything, not necessarily all through dialogue and stuff. Anyway, so me, the friend that also pays attention, and the friend that doesn't are all sitting there supposedly watching it. The friend who doesn't pay attention actually turned it on to watch, having never seen it before. And we sat down to watch it, and literally like the intro played, and then this one friend like just like got up off the couch and like went to the bathroom for like 15 minutes, and then like came back and like looked up at the screen and was like, "This doesn't make any sense." And like me and the other friend were like, "What the hell?" Like, he's like, "What is going on here?" I'm like, "What? Like what?"
Do you need to rewind?
But like genuinely says that.
Yeah, this friend says like
unabashedly.
says like, "I don't pay attention, but I get 95% of what's going on." I'm like,
then why are you asking questions?
I don't pay attention, but I get it.
see,
But I don't get it.
See, at first when I
Your
heard
existence is an oxymoron.
At first, when I heard that from this friend, I gave them the benefit of the doubt, even though my core told me that was not true. But I gave them the benefit of the doubt because I'm like, okay, maybe you're one of those people that's, could be inside a room and be on like 2 phones, an iPad, and watching TV and kind of somehow absorb it all, Mm-hmm. But I seriously doubt it just based on this person's like other life choices and stuff.
Yeah.
In this case, they weren't even in the room. They were 2 rooms away. Like, you can't even hear it from there.
On the toilet. Like, I can kind of hear it through the wall.
But not at all. Like, I guarantee you they were on their phone doing something else, And it's just like, what's going on here? It doesn't make any sense. Terrible show. I'm like, what the hell?
He's in there like, I'm still listening.
So, like, I don't know. I don't know why I got into that. Oh,
Well,
because the Christmas special.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, we can officially, not officially, but say that Life Day, is it canon now again? Because like the whole George Lucas, he was like, "This is not canon."
He burned like that.
This is canon.
A long time ago.
I destroyed it with a cannon.
So in my head, that was one of the details that like I kind of assumed just always existed, even though they never mentioned it again, and stuff. But then when I actually heard him say it, I was like, they haven't mentioned that before.
Yeah, and it was just like a throwaway line too.
It was real quick, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
But now Life Day John brought it back.
That's so funny. Because I mentioned that to Tom McMurray, and
so
she was
silly.
like, I didn't even notice that. I'm like, it's right. It's like right at the beginning. And I can understand you missing that.
Yeah.
Because, it's just like, oh, I hope I make it back to my family.
Life Day. The thing is Life Day considered Christmas?
It's supposed to be like
it's like
similar.
was it Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa?
Yeah.
Because like, I'm trying to figure that out.
It was the Star Wars Christmas special, and so they just called it Life Day. Did you ever see the Christmas special?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it's just
it's basically Christmas because they're decorating a tree and everything. But at the same time,
all I gotta say,
it's in space.
It's in space.
Chewbacca's grandparents
was grandfather.
Oh,
yeah, there's no grandmother, right?
Remember that scene where he's sitting there
watching porn
and watching.
Like clearly, I mean, there's not even a way to like cut across it. It's like let me put this VR headset on you. It's like, what other explanation is it? It's like this is a music thing because she's kind of singing, but she's just kind of like feeling herself.
It's like I'm a sentient mammal,
and he's the only one watching it. Like it's just like it was a choice, like
right.
And I can't figure a different way to like recontextualize that because the little boy watched music too, but it was on a private VR set with a woman like making orgasmic noises.
I just remember like watching it and seeing like, okay, it's kind of cool that all these people are back in it again, but the story is the weirdest, goofiest, and then like the animatronics or whatever they had of the Wookiees were just awful.
Yeah,
and it was awkward beyond all get out. I would rather watch the Fantastic Four 1992 movie that never came out.
I still haven't seen it. I want to.
I'd rather watch that again. I could rewatch. That has better rewatch ability than the Star Wars.
That's what I was
special.
bringing up before I went on the rant about a friend. Was that like this is one of those that since it's not so bad it's good or so bad it's funny. Mm-hmm. It's really good to like talk over and kind of be like, this is happening. What the hell's B. Arthur doing? Like
singing a song.
Actually, the one good thing that we got out of that we wouldn't have had without the Star Wars specials, that Boba Fett animated short.
Yeah,
I love it so much. Like I clipped it out and I have it just like on my iPod or not my iPhone now or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just like a little video clip because the animation style is like gorgeous, and it's just interesting. It actually feels a lot like the Mandalorian in like animated form.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, does it say like what he would try to do if he redid the?
He said he has an idea with like a character that hasn't been basically shown on the show yet. So, but I don't know if they'll allow that to happen.
The thing is, John probably read every book a few times. He's like consumed Star Wars to the point of where he is a Star War. Now he's like crapping out Solo, and then he's Mandalorian. And
did he do Solo? I don't think he did Solo.
Was he was in Solo or did
I don't think he was in Solo either.
I thought he
Solo
did Solo.
was done by. It was supposed to be done by Miller and Lord. They got fired halfway through, and then they got hired by Ron Howard. Did the whole thing, redid it almost.
That's the thing is like I liked Solo, and I feel like it's on par with Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I know like Star Wars fans like not agree with that, but like I thought it was like a little like kind of side quest, and I dug it. The only thing I had to like kind of keep my head in the game with is like that's clearly not a young Harrison Ford.
Yes,
but I have to tell myself it is because they're not going to do that, and I'd rather just get another actor than try to deep fake his face on there.
Yeah, I just don't. It's
directed by Ron Howard. Yeah.
I don't understand why they did that movie. Like, there was definitely a crowd swell of fans that would rather have had an Obi-Wan movie, which is now obvious because they gave him an Obi-Wan show.
Yeah,
with Ewan McGregor. So people were asking for that. Nobody asked for a Solo prequel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the whole thing behind it. I just thought it was the first fun Star Wars movie to me. Like the other ones are fun, have fun elements.
Yeah,
but this was the first one that just felt like a long ride. Like I kind of dug. It was like not a spaghetti western. It was just like I don't know, like it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy almost. You know, like
a little bit.
This that like I don't know, really irreverent like fun Star Wars run. So I mean I don't.
Which makes me think like how different it would have been with Miller and Lord actually doing it, because they're even goofier.
Yeah,
like and out there. I think it would have been like way more funny then. Just because they're like funny dudes. I
think that the movie was probably doomed before it even started though, because that was after Last Jedi, and everybody was like all up in arms about that and stuff. And then
that's one of the reasons why I didn't do as well at the theater. So,
but I mean, people who listen to this podcast know that it's no surprise to me. I just assume every Star Wars movie coming out will be a failure in the fans' eyes. Like,
he was in Solo. Sorry,
what was he in Solo?
Rio Durant.
I'm pretending I knew who that is.
So
was he on the Vegas planet thing?
When Han, they were trying to get to the train, like they're trying to rob the train or get away from something. I forget what it was, but he was the other pilot that died in that sequence. His buddy, whatever. They're the ones that like. Do you guys remember that?
Vaguely.
There's pictures of him here, but it's hard enough to.
So it's true.
Well, I'm just saying in order to show you guys.
Yeah. I mean,
but I don't feel like showing you.
It reminded me. I saw this meme that I think is hilarious. For me, because I'm an outsider. It was like Star Wars fans like Star Wars is better than Star Trek. It's like Star Trek fans like at least we don't hate 6 out of 9 of our movies.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like
I feel
like a lot of the Star Trek guys aren't a big fan of a few of the ones after like Wrath of Khan.
I guess the thing is I don't think
there's some bad ones.
I don't think of Star Trek as movies. I think of the series. You know, it's almost like the opposite. It's like the Star Trek series is like what is like the foundation of it. You know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there for a large amount
Star
of people,
Wars
the movies
doing
were
it backwards.
Big. Yeah.
Where Star Trek started off as a show
and went to the movies.
Now this is like movies going into shows and back out of movies again.
Although it's interesting. Like I remember seeing the original movies. I was very young, so I don't have an actual context for that. But when I saw like the remade ones, I thought they were decent. Like once again, outsider, you know, I was kind of surprised that they literally just redid Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
When I was like, okay, nope, they didn't change that. Okay, and this is me not even remembering the first Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Even I remembered that all the things were the same. I was like, that was a choice again. Like, sure, but I still thought it was fun. Like, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it.
I didn't see the one after the first one.
Oh,
was there 3? Because I think there's 3, right?
The second one was really cool.
Was that the Wrath of Khan one?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the second one was Wrath of Khan.
It had Khan in it at least.
It was called something else.
Yeah.
But it played out. Spock dies. Like everything happens like the exact same like way. You know. Spoilers for a 40-year-old movie.
Right. Okay, so let's see.
Whatever the one with Benedict Cumberbatch, because he ended up becoming Khan.
So yeah.
You may know. I can't remember. There was some like one of those ones that make like how it should have ended or whatever it was. They were redoing it. Like, my name is Khan.
Yeah.
People were like, what? Oh yeah, I got it.
Into the Darkness or something like that.
That sounds
Something
right.
like that.
I'm trying to look for.
And our friend Tina, who's the inventor of Mad Packs, she has her Mad Packs in that movie as well, the new Star Trek movies. And now we have the same design after catching up with it for after 2 years.
Yeah. I'm actually, for the last little bit here on The Mandalorian, I'm really excited to see Ming-Na Wen because she's in this series eventually. And I'm really excited to see Bill Burr.
What?
He's in this.
Interesting.
That's gonna be fun.
Apparently, like, he became a friend of Favreau, and historically, Bill Burr hates Star Wars.
Okay.
And Favreau's like, I really have this part for you. I think it would be great for you. And Bill Burr's like, you do realize I make fun of this all the time, right?
It's funny because I think
is that going to be the thing the Star Wars fans hate? Is like anything they would kill for? And
I don't know.
He just gets thrown in there.
I love Bill Burr and like just his voice and the way he like his Boston attitude is.
It'd be funny if
just
he's the one
funny to
calling
me.
out all the inconsistencies in the show.
I
He's
think
like, "What's that guy doing over there? He's been preparing the same thing for 3 weeks." Like, like what's
That'd
this
be
person
funny.
over here?
I think Bill Burr. The reason that happened was there's a Netflix show he did, or with John did with Roy Choi, and they brought Bill Burr on as a guest.
Yeah.
And I mean, they probably have an ongoing relationship, anyways. But I could see like why John would bring Bill Burr into something like that. And I think it had to do with that show at one point.
Man, that's like dragging me into like a DC movie. You're gonna have a cameo, literally anything but that.
2003 was Star Trek Into Darkness,
Okay.
and then 2016 was Star Trek Beyond,
There you go.
Was it Beyond?
So there's 3.
Was it? Wait, 3?
and then that was it.
Wait, what was the third one?
Beyond.
What was the first one?
Star Trek.
Into Star Trek was the first one.
Oh,
that
okay.
was 2009,
Okay, so Into the Darkness was the con one.
Yeah.
Then. Gotcha.
and then Beyond was super dope. I remember.
Because it's just an alternate timeline of the same universe, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing.
It was really. I saw this interview the other day with. It was like an actor on actor interview or something. I can't remember.
I should really like those kind of interviews.
It had Adam Sandler and Brad Pitt, and
Sure.
you're like weird, like that you'd put those two together.
Yeah.
Okay, and just funny to see like. I don't know, like Sandler can hold his own like now, like, but how like as a comedian, that's really weird to make that kind of like, hi, I'm just standing up telling jokes, and then you slowly move to television. I wonder how awkward that is. Like how much actually you have to go back and get some acting for it or whatever.
For Adam Sandler?
Yeah, well, for anybody as a comedian, like Bill Burr, like I was kind of trying to link it
gotcha.
to the Bill Burr thing, to where like, he started doing, he has his own like cartoon stuff, but that's voiceover. That's not
Yeah.
like acting. Gaffigan, I remember, started doing like Sprite commercials or whatever.
I guess you just never know, because like Mitch Hedberg famously said, it's unfair that he has to go from stand up to being an actor. He's like, it's fucking hard. Like he didn't have that. But then like you realize there's a lot of like stand up comedians that are actually like actors, and the stand up is like what got them popular,
Yeah.
or like they're actually a good actor, but like comedy is the thing that hit. And then you realize like a lot of comedic actors that are successful are like some of the best, because it's hard to like land all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like I
I
remember
mean,
when
Rogan and Sandler too. I mean, Sandler has some great friggin' movies that were dramas that were just, I love. Like
And-
Rain on Me is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, same here. And like I remember when Chicago, the movie came out, I remember like, all those actors I was just floored by, but specifically Catherine Zeta-Jones. I was like, I didn't know she could sing and dance like that. Then it turns out she's a trained singer, because that's part of acting. And it just never hit like that. There wasn't like a whole like need for like musicals and stuff in Hollywood until that point. So it was like, oh, that's really her singing. Because that was also during that era where like auto-tune was kind of new, and so like every actor was going to be in a movie that was a musical, and they were just going to like auto-tune them or replace their
Or
voice
they
with
just
something.
get someone else to sing it.
Yeah. Like what was it, Walk Hard?
That's got some hard auto tune.
Jenna, what's her last name? She was Pam in The Office.
Oh yeah, I don't know her name.
But she had a completely different singer, because she even's like, I went to singing lessons for months and stuff. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
So I think they even had someone famous.
dude. I mean, some of that Reese Witherspoon stuff.
Oh, and Walk the
you're,
Line.
yeah, you're walk. Okay, you said Walk Hard. There's it is like a spoof of Walk.
Yeah. Or every biopic, musical
Walk
biopic.
the Line. Like,
I'd actually
didn't T-Bone Burnett also do the music for that?
That's what's weird is T-Bone also did Nashville,
Yeah.
the show, which had great music, because it's a bunch of like undiscovered music in Nashville, but the autotune, man, is like real
Was
hard.
it all bad too?
Yeah, it's
Dude,
real
that Walk
hard.
the Line was so bad. You can hear that Reese Witherspoon stuff. My daughter can hear auto-tune like on just normal little things for like
Yeah.
television shows. Like kids shows, you're like, all right, whatever. It's a kids show. At least it's not annoying. But like when you watch a movie and I hear it go boing, like it's a keyboard, and you're like, come on, dude.
And this is June Cash.
Yeah.
You know, like
you're supposed to be an amazing singer.
Like, and not even on pitch.
Yeah.
You know, like how many times Dolly Parton been on pitch? You know, she sounds amazing though.
And like,
You know?
I have no doubt that like you can take an actress and like give them some singing lessons over like 6 months time and make them a decent enough singer to hold a tune where you and I could cut their vocals and be like,
Yeah.
all right, it sounds okay. Maybe add just a tiny bit of tune or something. But like, even it's shorter than 6 months, like 3 months. But like, I know that actors and actresses are probably like, okay, and out the door, like, here you go. And like, you're in the room. And
Which is weird because there's so many choices now. Because like, I think Greatest Showman was one of the best examples of how you could either do it or not. Because like, there's some people like Hugh Jackman who came from Broadway. He clearly could do his parts, you know, and
Obviously,
stuff. Zendaya is a singer; she can do her parts. Zac Efron, a lot of people don't know, like didn't start off as a singer, even though he supposedly sang. He's now a great singer. Who knew? You know, like he could work
stuff was
into it.
mostly replaced in that first
In the first high school movie.
musical.
But like, because he was so young. But like, Greatest Showman, like, you know, he's had years and years of singing lessons and acting and stuff. He's like holding his own. But then Rebecca Ferguson didn't sing a lick of her own music. It was another gal from New York that was a demo singer.
Yeah.
And it's seamless. Like they found someone who like matches the tonality and stuff. And they actually had Rebecca Ferguson like sing live, even though they didn't record it, so that they could like have like the pressure in her throat and like the veins, everything like kind of matching, you know?
Yeah.
And stuff to this woman who was singing. And it was like, it's about telling the story, not about like if Reese Witherspoon can sound like June Cash, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I just realized what the scene's going to be like with Bill Burr.
I'm going, yeah.
You guys were talking, and I was like, oh, it's going to be him in the bar, because Bill Burr is the loud dude at the bar that like he's kind of drunk and he's kind of angry and he's yelling and he's super loud, but he has this like unified logic that you can't understand for a drunk guy.
but that's what I was saying. Wouldn't it be funny if he was kind of like the Deadpool series? He's like, well, let's look at this guy back here. He's been here for like 3 weeks. Like, what's this guy over here doing? Like, just pointing out all like the things that like we just give TV shows, you know?
Yep.
And so I was like, why
That's
does this
the scene.
Mandalorian not change clothes in
Yeah,
like
he's going to point out
months,
like,
you know, like
aren't you dead? Didn't you die in one of the movies? No, just playing. But that
He should have
that's
been,
more.
Bill Burr should have been that, the opposite of Sonic the Hedgehog.
oh yeah,
Instead of James, what's his name?
James Marsden.
James Marsden. I would laugh my rear end off if that was Bill Burr, because it'd be like, shouldn't you have just died?
Yeah, how are you still alive? I don't know.
He'd just be screaming the whole movie.
He would be. I think I'd just watch it because it was him screaming.
I heard. Speaking of Sonic, I didn't look into the article to see if this was true. I heard rumors that the revisions cost $35 million.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So if
Out
that-
of like 90 million,
yeah, so
out of 90 million,
so
the
it brought it up to
revision cost
125 million.
Yeah.
So if that's true, everybody's like, we got to go see this, because it set a precedent of like, okay, they listen to the fans, and if there's no turnout, they're gonna be like, never listen to the fans again.
I have a feeling that because of the marketing and
Yeah.
because of the memes and all the other crap that goes on because of it, it will do well just because.
I'm now a little bit more certain that it was actually a revision and not a marketing move.
Yeah.
Because if anybody watches Corridor Digital, does the visual VFX artist React?
Yeah.
It actually started with Sonic. And so when the new Sonic came out, they're like, emergency episode, because it started with this. So they reacted to the new stuff. They actually pointed out all the stuff. You know, they're like, look how like less saturated his eyes are, and like his fur is still unrealistic. But they actually went less detail, and then it made the lighting like more accurate and stuff. And they were also talking about like how like when the lightning hits like the car, you're like, it's not that it needs to look realistic. It's just that you see how much bloom and like blowout it has compared to the sky, which is also blown out from the sun and stuff. And your eyes, like they actually fixed that stuff that wasn't connected to Sonic really, you know, necessarily. And they pointed out, they're like, okay, they did the timeline. They were like, so by the time you see a trailer for a movie, there's not much more than what's in the trailer that's actually rendered.
Yeah.
So they're like, we saw a trailer on this date, filming ended on this date before that and stuff, and that was roughly 4 months. And so to say that it'd be another 4 months before another trailer's cut, the timing checks out. So they were like, and now the movie comes out like what, another 6 months or something like
It's in
that.
February, isn't it?
Yes, also for another 4 months.
Yeah.
So they're like, all that timing checks out.
So they were like kind of coming at it like they were also having to feel like, was this fake, or did they do this on purpose, or what?
I don't. No. They were saying that like the time they actually worked through the timing in their head, and they were like, the timing actually checks out for like they actually did this in real time, and it wasn't like a big stunt move.
Okay, that's what I was asking. If they
So,
if they thought it might have been a stunt move, beforehand.
They're saying if it was heavily choreographed so that they had all angles. But they were like, it just checks out that I guess they said I want to say like they said filming ended in October and then 4 months after that, so like early January or February or whatever.
Releases on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. No, the old trailer.
Oh, I was just saying it releases on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Justice said that.
February.
So the trailer that we saw came out 4 or 5 months after filming ended. So they were like, so that part it all equals out to like the timing looks like it's right for like having to redo.
So it doesn't look like shady mess.
So yeah, so they're like and them actually pushing a date back, like it's weird. It would have messed up a lot of marketing things, like try to like say one day and then push everything. I don't know, it was interesting. So
now, unlike the New Mutants movie, which will never come out.
Yeah, I actually kind of hope that it's just like a quiet Disney Plus release or Hulu release or whatever, you know. It just shows up.
It's just like that scene in Saving Private Ryan where he puts his hand over his mouth and slowly puts the knife in.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy movie.
I wouldn't be. God, I know this is not going to happen, and it's not a popular thought, but I would love for them to just like do that with all the Xmen movies. Be like, these never happen.
Well, they're not on the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah.
Neither are the Spider-Man movies that Sony made.
Yeah, because I guess those are up like licensing or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but they're still in the MCU, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Because even did you click on like other movies like Black Panther and stuff? And if you click on those movies, it says like this will be available on this date because of licensing
Okay.
stuff. And then there's some movies that aren't there at all yet because I don't think that's clear like what the licensing is like.
Yeah.
Like the Spider-Man ones they said specifically is with Sony.
Yeah.
About being on a exclusive like streaming
crazy.
thing. You know.
I don't think Hulk's on it either.
Yeah, Hulk's not there. There's something else.
I've seen a lot of people, and a lot of people rewatching the X-Men series.
Yeah, me too. I also see more memes about not skipping the X-Men theme song than any other theme song. So that's really cool.
I sent one out there. It was pretty fun.
Where are you seeing that at?
What's that?
What?
Where are you seeing
Just
that at?
online, like people
you're on Facebook
doing reviews of it and stuff. It's really weird.
and people post like just like tweets or like Facebook posts of like just like not the only song I'm not skipping is X-Men. It's just commentary people are making about
Well,
the
that's
shows.
cool.
Since it came out, people were like, "Oh wow, it's on Disney Plus." It's like, well, it was on like Netflix at one point in time, and it was on Hulu for a long time. Like, and then they had the DVD releases that I had most of. So.
I think I forget if it was this way on Hulu or whatever, but I think this might be the first time on streaming where you have the skip intro button, and that's why they bring up the song. Because you can do that with like every other intro. It is interesting. So people talked about this, and we mentioned it a little bit. I forget last time on this podcast or during our live stream, but the DuckTales shows are out of order. The episodes. Did I mention that last time
I think
here?
you said something about it, yeah.
So X-Men is also that way.
Yeah, but they've always been that way. The DVDs are that way.
So, but I don't have the DVDs with me to double check. Is it just in DVD order?
It's in whatever order it aired.
Aired in?
Which I remember when it came out that it was messed
aired.
up.
Yeah.
Because I was like throwing a fit and like, what the heck? They said it was going to be a new one and this is an old one and this is going on. And my dad's like, why don't you write them a letter? And I'm like, and even as like immediately like a 6th grade kid was like, that's going to do jack squat, Dad.
Nice.
Which is funny because we talked to Eric and Julia Leewald, who are the showrunners for that show. They were like, actually, that meant so much because I mean, people had to take the effort to write it, so that would change directions at that time.
My letter would have changed
Now,
the world.
now it's different because any jackass can just comment, and email or whatever. But they're like at that time, like for people to go through the trouble of like mailing, like finding the address of the studio to like mail them a physical letter.
I see that guy every once in a while in the grocery store.
That's funny.
Like, obviously, he doesn't know me. It's like, oh, that's the X-Men guy.
Yeah, Eric.
That guy's cool.
Eric and Julia, if you happen to listen
funny.
to this in the future, I have a reminder that popped up today that you told me that today was the first day we could get a hold of you after your big deadline. So tomorrow morning I'll be hitting you up because we have some follow up stuff with NerdSync to do.
Oh, I want to be there for that.
I was going to say with the so the reason I was wondering if it was the DVD order / air date was because the DuckTales new series is not an air date order. It's just wrong.
Oh, weird.
And the
It's
DuckTales original series is in some weird, I don't know who, like, it's not an air date. It's not in chronological. I don't know what
You
it
said
is.
even the titles were weird.
Well, not the it's just like, okay, so like if IMDb has like the actual like air date order, say episode 23 is like Huey, Dewey, and Louie go to, it's not a real title, go to the circus. On Disney Plus, it's episode 54.
That's
23
weird.
is something else.
But doesn't it have the old number in the title still?
No.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No, but they'll skip numbers. So then that's episode 23, but then there won't be an episode 24. But then there'll be episode 25. That's something else. And then the total amount of episodes is right.
Still the same, yeah.
But there's the wrong number of seasons. It's just like a really interesting. So I didn't know if the Xmen were the same way, if it just kind of got shuffled or
I
went to the air
think
date.
it would be
It's
funny
weird.
though, like if the numbers were in the title, kind of like how people used to get stuff hacked or whatever online. It'd be like season 01 E or S01 E or E01 whatever for season 1 episode 1.
I just thought it'd be in my head. It's like episode 12, and then it says like here we do it. Go to the episode 5.
Yeah.
Someone just went on they're like, hey, we need to get all these episodes. You want to go to the vault? No, I'll just pull it up on BitTorrent.
They just load it in however they got it or whatever.
Part of me wonders if there wasn't a QC on that on a minor purpose, because everybody talking about it's better publicity than nobody talking about it.
That's so cool.
It's one of those, is it the Occam's razor thing? Or it's like whatever's the simplest.
Well, I'm saying because I see this a lot of times when we're working in with some film stuff with friends, but especially in music stuff or even in YouTube. They're like, oh, this error happened on the thing, and then they were like, just leave it. We'll capitalize on people talking about it. So not that it was like the plan from the get go.
Yeah.
It was just like, should we put a ton of effort into it, make this right?
Yeah.
Or should we let it go and then
people
build
in the
off the
comments
PR?
will be like, at 12 minutes 30 seconds.
Yeah. So we had Slice and Rice is a good example. Their first viral video, 4.5 million views, over a week or whatever. At the very end, it says subscribe instead of subscribe. And so they're so embarrassed by it, they use a thing to cover it, like a end card thing.
Yeah.
It's like, take that thing off there, man. All those comments of people saying how you misspelled that are still engagement.
That's true.
And it's at the end of the video, so they watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's also you don't get a whole lot of data about who exactly has made it through the entire video. So
Yeah.
little errors at the beginning of the video or anything. So I could totally see it being like, okay, should we spend the next because there's a couple companies out in Burbank that some friends work for. They do QC on DVDs and streaming things and stuff. They and they said that they combed through that stuff, like Infinity War. They had to watch it in however many dozen languages it was re-recorded and
Ouch,
stuff.
that'd be so boring.
And so it's a
that
long
sucks.
process. So I guess with Disney Plus, there's probably something longer of a process than we think there is. I don't know how many languages Disney Plus is in, because I know there's a language options. So I wonder if they were just should we spend the time, however many days or weeks they would take to do that?
Right.
Or should we just throw it up there and then whatever outcome happens, we'll stick the marketing department on it, or something. Or don't stick them on because everybody talking about it's still better promo than because in the new DuckTales series, I don't even watch that, so I don't even know what's out of order. But the only way that people knew what order to watch it in, besides maybe looking on IMDb, is that the creators of the new series tweeted out the thing.
Order.
So it's how much would those guys have been tweeting out if it was right?
Also, when you find that out, why couldn't Disney people be like, hey, dude, real quick, just switch that stuff around?
Yeah, I think they'll probably fix it in another round because I did see. We talked last week about how the Simpsons are happening weird
Yeah, they're all weird.
things.
4 to 3.
Disney Plus tweeted or sent something out saying that's going to be fixed in a future. They're not fixed. They're going to give options for the original aspect ratio and future
That's good.
versions and stuff. But even then, it was man, it's still PR. People are still watching it.
Yeah. It's just bringing buzz.
So it's not they. I think even the thing that could have potentially been the greatest controversy is still a little drop in the bucket with the old content that has the warnings that there's outdated social
Norms or something. I don't know.
something like that. It's basically saying these cartoons were racist, but but we can't get rid of them all because we won't have a catalog.
And we don't want to take the
1960.
stuff out, so we want people to see, the
Yeah.
way things were in history.
I mean, there's a couple things like Song of the South. I think everybody at university was trying to exist and agreed didn't happen except for Zippity Doo-Dah and Briar Rabbit, and then everything else is
Of which they have a ride.
yeah. I think he ended up having his own shorts later or something.
Oh, I don't know that.
Just because they're he's a cute character. That's where he came from. This not Song of the South. He came from this thing. It was sure, but we remember.
Did you see that Disney, they released new movie dates?
I saw that, but
they didn't give any movies. But
last time they did that, it was only about 30% right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we're cool. We're gonna have some more Marvel movies. I'm good. I'm down with that. You know.
What do you think is gonna come up soon? Because okay.
So what we already know is that. What did they actually already announce? Because I guess there's some stuff we just know that's going to happen whether they release it or not. There's going to be another Black Panther.
Yeah, I think
Black
there's definitely going
Widow.
to be a new Black Panther, Black Widow,
Doctor
Captain
Strange.
Marvel, Doctor Strange, Eternals are obviously. Shang-Chi's coming out. So the first one that's coming out is going to be was it Eternals?
Eternals,
Oh no,
right.
wait.
Was it going to be Black Widow?
Black Widow's first.
Oh wow! For some reason I thought it was
1st.
going to be Eternals. Was that swapped or has it always been like that?
I don't know.
Interesting. It'd be funny.
I know that they've shot Black Widow way before they started shooting Eternals though. So
It'd be funny if Black Widow is like how SNL portrayed it with Scarlett Johansson. It's like Sex in the City.
she's just. Oh, you're talking about another one. There's a bunch of them. They do that.
Yeah, but this was actually Scarlett Johansson
Yeah,
on SNL, like as Black Widow.
with Ultron being like the guy she's dating or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So that's coming out in May of next year, 2020. Eternals is coming out in
We have to
November.
wait a
2020.
year
There's
for
only
Eternals?
2 movies next year.
But we have to wait a year for Eternals. I was actually
Yeah.
looking forward to that one.
Shang-Chi is coming out in February of the year following.
Black Panther's not till like 2022.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is coming out May of that year, 2021. Love and Thunder, November 2021. And then Black Panther 2,
2022.
2022. And then we got unscheduled stuff.
Guardians
So
of the
here's
Galaxy.
possible of those dates that they just released, which I'm sure Guardians of the Galaxy will be one of them.
Yeah.
Volume 3. What else we got? Captain Marvel 2. Possible Fantastic Four. I'd actually
down for that.
be super down for Fantastic Four.
Oh, but Ms. Marvel's supposed to be one of those things too, right?
She's the Disney Plus show.
So I don't know if you saw the thing Kevin Feige did in Disney
Things
Plus.
are going to cross over.
He said that after she's has a show, she's going to be in the movies, and that the way he said it implied that it was going to be her movie. But I don't know. Maybe he did mean she's just going to be a side character. In one
I
of
would
the movies,
assume
but-
that they'd probably introduce her in the movie because she gets her character name from
She's going to
a
be
loving Captain Marvel. So
Captain Marvel's side chick.
I have to
no,
like,
but
I feel
she's
like-
a little kid.
I have
but-
to like I have to look it up, but I could have sworn in the video he said that they were going to introduce her in the show and then put her in the movies.
yes.
Okay, I thought you said that they were going to introduce her in the movies.
No. I said like it'd be easier for her to be involved in the movies because she gets her name
Gotcha.
from liking Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, Blade. Forgot about that.
Blade's another one that's
That's gonna be a movie.
definitely confirmed for being a movie.
Okay, for
because
some reason
remember
I
it's the
thought
guy
it was a
from
show.
that's Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like
that's right.
Netflix never happened.
So at least those are the ones that are at least somewhat confirmed. These other people, whatever website we're on here, says Xmen is possible, but I doubt that's going to be. They're going to wait 5 years before they're going to even attempt that.
I wouldn't even be mad if they waited like 10 years.
That's sad.
It's just like it's kind of like Fantastic Four. I swallowed wrong. This or even Spider-Man. You don't let that shit breathe, and just keep trying to like rehash it. Even though I loved the Tom Holland Spider-Man, I had barely forgotten that Andrew Garfield was just Spider-Man. That was just Tobey Maguire,
I ignored those 2 movies, like straight up. Didn't even want to watch them.
But it's just they kept popping up, and even now there's so many Spider-Man stuff. They're all crossing over, like they're all overlapping, not crossing over. Like in the same year, it was like in the same couple years, it was like 2 Spider-Man movies, Venom and Spider-Verse. And it was like now there are so many of them. They're crossing, like they're overlapping from the studios that own the rights.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, I'm guessing the new deal that they hashed out between Sony and them, things are going to cross over a little bit more. So,
Yeah, they announced Spider-Verse 2,
yeah,
which new rock stars, new rock stars.
those 2.
Yeah, new rock stars did a breakdown of the trailer.
Yeah.
I was like, it literally is just the name.
Yeah.
And usually I hate those things, but they brought up some good points of the first reveal of the first movie.
Yeah.
Was kind of like that. And they're like, it unfolded all the characters.
Yeah.
So they're like, if we use these flashing images, we might be able to predict what characters are going to see this one. I'm like, oh crap, you might be right.
So we just break, people try to break down things from trailers. They got so good at it that they had to start putting in fake crap for the trailers on purpose so that they screw with people. Now they're going to have to do that with like teasers.
I guess, but I think they did this teaser specifically because they don't have to actually render out footage, but they can tease
Yeah.
like what characters are going to be in this one. It's kind of neat. Who did they say in that same thing with Feige? They talked about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And who was creating it? And it was like, I was like, that's interesting. I couldn't remember.
I think that are they doing She-Hulk and Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is it the showrunner that's doing both of them?
But the She-Hulk thing, there was somebody on the team that I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice. That's like, I think they said it was going to be something like comedic or something. Or, man, now I'm curious. But She-Hulk, to me, I know everybody's like, what's Ms. Marvel going to be like? She-Hulk's the one I'm going to be like, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's Bruce's cousin.
Yeah.
And she becomes She-Hulk by a blood transfusion. So, like, I wonder how they're gonna include then Bruce in it. That's gonna be weird.
Maybe just references.
If Mark Ruffalo's not canceled by then.
I'm more worried
There's
about...
not even anything happening with him. I'm just assuming that...
I'm more worried about this Black Widow movie and whether it's going to be good or not.
I heard a lot of stuff. In fact, one of the things on here that says it's really good, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
Black Widow movie was nuts.
The girl from Midsummer, I forget her name, but she's on here. Florence Pugh. She said it was one of the most bizarre, nuts, extravagant experiences. It's like, oh, okay. In Budapest, so we know it's going to be like a
throwback at least.
Yeah.
I am... This is confusing.
Everyone's coughing.
If you go to She-Hulk's thing in IMDb,
yeah,
it is mixed notes from She-Hulk, the upcoming series, and a 2008 movie.
Weird.
But this movie looks awesome. Or it's a short.
What is this? What on earth is that? Wow. Okay.
I was like, that can't be real.
That. I don't think.
So this thing for Disney Plus is supposed to be She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and Miss Marvel in a series.
Well, it's separate series.
Ms. Marvel.
They're all separate series.
Yeah.
Oh, new series featuring.
Yeah. They each get their own. I see people, I know I brought up this awful website. We Got It Covered, and there's a million of them like it. I feel like they keep buying new ones and making new websites and whatnot just to have different names to put out crappy clickbait garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I just see people like, I remember when Ms. Marvel was like being cast, they're like, it should be Ronda Rousey. It should be Ronda Rousey. And like now it's moved on to to She-Hulk. It should be Ronda Rousey. Like, no, it shouldn't be Ronda Rousey.
I think I was open to that idea before I saw her acting. Once again, actually talking to Atomic Mari about it, because Mari's actually way more into wrestling. I'm virtually not into wrestling at all. Mm-hmm. She was like, "We just never learned because like you see, you think it's just because she's a wrestler, but then you see other wrestlers act, and you're like, wrestlers can act, she just can't."
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous. And I've brought this up before about her scenes in Mortal Kombat 11. I didn't even like really fully realize how ridiculous this is until I was talking to Mari and her husband Peter. Mm-hmm. So there's a scene where everybody's at like an army base trying to figure out how to like conquer this demon coming from the nether realm, and it's Sonya and Johnny Cage and like all the other army people, and then like the ninjas and like Raiden, the god of thunder, and they're all trying to plan this together. That scene shouldn't work, but everything is so believable. Raiden's like, we must unite the armies together, blah blah, and he's a thunder god. You know, it's like very like Asian like inspired and stuff. And then there's like this ice ninja and this fire demon from hell, and they're like, yes, like unite the clans, blah blah blah. And then like the one person that would be the easiest to be like relatable and real is the army lady, and it's voiced by Ronda Rousey, and she's like, but how will we ever unite? And it's like, how is it that like amongst like the thunder god, the ice ninja, and like the fire demon and stuff, the one person that's not believable is like army lady.
Yeah.
Just by her performance. I was like, I believed Raiden. Whoever voiced Raiden's like, I'm with you, Raiden. Like, we're gonna gather the forces. We're gonna go invade NetherRealm, you know, and stuff. But,
well, I know this Gina Carano, right? Mm-hmm. She was in Deadpool.
Yeah, she's a wrestler too.
Was she a wrestler or MMA?
She's one of the fighters.
Either, yeah, she's a fighter either way. And I remember, at least when she was younger, she looked like the perfect fit for Wonder Woman for me. Like I was like, she was also I don't know if she still is a girlfriend to Henry Cavill, but at one point she was.
She's super hot.
See, Mari actually brought up her too from Deadpool. She's like, so her character, guess what they didn't make her do? A bunch of dialogue. You know, they were like, let's play to your strengths.
Yeah.
You know, like she can like act well physically, you know, maybe not. I guess we don't have any evidence yet, but maybe not like deliver a complete dramatic monologue.
Yeah.
You know, but like let's not like try and make things that aren't what they aren't, you know? So she like fit that role perfectly.
Apparently she's going to be a Mandalorian as well. I didn't know that.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of like, I was at first I was excited about Ming-Na Wen being in there, and I still am.
Yeah.
But now I'm afraid she's going to be like a 5-second cameo because of how many people are supposed to be in this.
It's true.
Because in Ming-Na Wen, I just saw her credit was like assassin. So I don't even know if she has a name necessarily.
It's
But
just assassin.
Just
Hey,
assassin.
assassin.
I mean, I saw the still of her. She looks badass, so I can't wait to like see the full.
When I hear Mandalorian, I think assassin.
Well, he is a bounty hunter. And
I love anything that Ming-Na Wen is in is awesome, and it's. I thought that they missed an opportunity for her to be like the mom in Mulan, since she is the voice of Mulan.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, she could totally been like the mom in the new like live action Mulan.
I wonder if she didn't want that or something.
Maybe not.
Because I know, was it Julie Andrews didn't want to be in Mary Poppins?
The new
Like,
one.
she was kind of, but not. She didn't have to come in for it.
Yeah.
I think for that, she said her reasoning was she didn't want to pull the attention away from Emily Blunt.
Okay.
You know, which it would have like if like there was old Mary Poppins came in somehow, you know, and stuff. Even though it's supposed to be the same person.
Yeah.
If she came in, it'd be like, oh look, Julie Andrews. You know, like,
Oh, look, my good friend, who is also me.
yeah. Someone pointed it out, and I can't remember what their explanation was, but they were like, Ming-Na Wen might be the only, or at least one of the first, if not the only, Disney EGOTs. You know, it's not necessarily EGOT because it's not different organizations, but she's like, she's a Pixar movie, she's a Disney princess, she's like in the Marvel
I see what you mean.
stuff, she's in the Star Wars. You
Yep.
know, she's in every branch that Disney owns.
So she just
she's
goes
like-
with all of them.
No, she's like you know how like Lady Gaga, you know, has like Grammy, Emmy, Oscar, you know, stuff. So like Ming-Na Wen is like she's a major character in each of those things. She's like in each, like she's a starring role in like each of the arms of Disney and stuff. You know, everywhere from like a Marvel superhero to like a Star Wars hero to, or maybe
What's a Star Wars?
a Star Wars
What's a
hero
Star Wars?
to a Disney princess, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like
She has, like,
TV, movies.
she's like an eagle spreading her wings across everything. It's beautiful.
I know that was it the Mary Poppins reboot or whatever didn't do very well comparatively.
I
And
I
so-
didn't see that, but I guess I could see.
Just at least money wise. And speaking of the same, the Charlie's Angels movie came out this weekend.
Yeah, kind of
We'll
bomb.
think we'll end on this one. It was what, like a 50 million just to make it.
That makes sense. That sounds normal for an action movie in Hollywood, or
I feel like
like
that's
a little
bit
low.
under for an
Yeah,
action movie, especially nowadays.
but it bombed. It did like eight. Like
It did 8 million.
Like it wasn't a little over 8. Like
Maybe been like 8.3
eight and a half,
or something,
like that. Because whatever was over at like Midway or something only did like a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
and then it was like a large gap to Ford versus Ferrari was like 100 million.
Oh, yeah.
or something.
I definitely want to see that. I mean, it looks way more entertaining.
So we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. I think the media is really like trying to paint Elizabeth Banks in a bad light. In my head, there's a little bit of like Illuminati, like tinfoil hat thing in there. Because when something bombs, they need somebody to like something to
fall.
attach it to, you know?
Yeah.
And there's no secret. I love Elizabeth Banks. We saw her actually speak about this movie at AT&T Shape. And she's the YouTube space like pretty frequently and things. I mean, by now everybody's seen the tweet that she put out. She's like, you know, if you're gonna have a movie bomb, have your name attached to it like 4 different ways or something like that.
Yeah.
The things I've been reading is saying like she's blaming like God. I've seen a variety of headlines. I saw one headline that said like Elizabeth Banks blames men for the failure
I
of
thought you were saying God for a second.
Me too.
a failure
What'd he have to do with this?
of the guys. The blames guys for the failure of Charlie's Angels, and this one we see it here says comic book movies and stuff. I don't know what like this article I haven't read specifically, but the other one I read, they were like citing a mixture of interviews that were from before and after the movie release, And when we saw her at Warner Brothers when she was talking about making the movie, she kind of like pointed out that like it's not going to have the level of success that like a Captain Marvel or a Wonder Woman has and stuff because it's not attached to like this large cinematic universe. And so I forget if she said she hoped that people doesn't see it like that, but she kind of pointed out like it's not going to be one of those movies, you know. I don't think anybody predicted it was going to bomb this bad, but it was kind of like what didn't help was before the movie came out, the soundtrack bombed even worse than anything.
Yikes.
Like, because the soundtrack was actually curated by Ariana Grande.
Yeah, didn't it have her and Miley and?
Yeah, that was the main song, but then Ariana Grande's on almost every song in the soundtrack too.
Okay.
And I guess she kind of, I think they wanted to reproduce what they did with Lorde and Hunger Games. I think what we learned though is Lorde has a lot better music taste than Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe in curating a soundtrack or something. Because the songs were okay. Like, I mean, there was like a Donna Summer song on there, like Bad Girls or something, but it was like a weird remix. And then and the one with her and Miley and Lana Del Rey was like not very good. The production was like hot, but like there's no melody in it.
It sounded weird to me.
Technically, and on paper, it sounds like it would be a good movie. You know what I mean? But I think there's just too many elements trying to put into the same film.
So that soundtrack that Ariana Grande curated sold 8,000 copies.
Wow.
The budget 48 million.
So that was like that was the precursor. So that came out 2 weeks before the movie. I think it just kind of like set the tone, you know, for everything. But yeah, the movie is probably we haven't seen it yet. It's probably decent because I still stand by like if it's a female centric movie, if the writing room has like female representation in it, it'll hit the notes it needs to. And this was basically helmed by Elizabeth Banks. I'm in the previews looked like it had good action. I actually didn't like Kristen Stewart before a couple years ago.
Yeah,
she's never really shown her own, and we know that the one girl from Power Rangers can do it. You know.
How much did you say it grossed? U.S.
8.5 million.
Yeah,
that, or
and it was $48 million to make,
not including marketing, probably.
Yeah.
And then cumulative worldwide gross says just an estimate of 27.
Oh, at least the international is more.
Yeah,
because that's good. But like,
which still is like not even half once you add the marketing budget.
Here's my deal with this. I know she wants to make it an inclusive thing and a female empowerment thing, and that's cool. But you're choosing Charlie's Angels, which is like a 1970s show that was like, hey, let's get like three very, very good-looking, attractive bombshells and put them in some funny things where they funnily beat up some males and whatnot, and just it's goofy. Like the whole, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Have you ever watched like the old Wonder Woman? Same way. It's goofy. And so you're trying to make it serious, and then you want, I don't know, you're trying to make it more serious. Even if you saw the 2000s version, it's goofy and it's funny because it has Bill Murray in it.
Yeah.
So like it's supposed to be like silly. Like when you have that, I don't know. I let me finish it real quick. When you have something that's historically been goofy and silly,
yeah,
and then you try to like pan it one way, I don't think it's gonna do well.
So have you seen it then?
Not the new one.
Oh, okay.
It just looks very
because the
more intense.
The impression I got from when Elizabeth Banks spoke is it was going to be a big campy ride, but I haven't seen it yet. So
watch the trailer from the old one and watch the trailer from the new one. I mean,
I wonder. This is just my theory. Is based off of the old movies and this movie. If the one thing, if she would have picked the 3 top actresses or actors right now.
I don't even know if that would have been an option with a budget of $48 million. That would have been like one of the actors.
Well, I'm just saying, in
true.
theory, if she was to pick the 3 top female actors of the time, just like they did in the old one,
so that's
would it have done differently?
So that's actually something I brought up before we started recording. Was that like I wouldn't be surprised if just the Drew Barrymore Charlie's Angels were just better movies. And that they had 3 of the biggest stars at the time. Like 20 years ago, you couldn't find many more stars bigger than Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, and Cameron Diaz as bombshells. And like that definitely probably plays to his strengths. And also like,
and it was silly.
Drew Barrymore was like Drew Barrymore produced those, and she's a powerhouse in this town. You know,
she's really good.
Elizabeth Banks like works hard, but I can't say that she has the the arm bending powers that maybe a Drew Barrymore could have in this town, you know, and stuff. So, and once again, it probably was just like hands down a better movie. I won't know until I see this one.
I seriously rewatch the trailers, just the trailers. The original, the one in 2000 is fun and goofy and silly, and like it's basically like smart swimsuit assassins. So where they're like, hey, we'll beat these guys up and we're smart and it's funny. It's got Bill Murray in it too. And so like it looks like a fun ride when you watch it. And then you watch this new one and it's like very secret agenty, very serious. Even the music that comes from the Ariana Grande song that's playing with it, it's very serious, like these girls.
I have another theory, because I haven't seen it, I'll say that. But in the trailer, it shows, you know, what was her name? Haley Scott. Is that the chick? Let me see.
Is it Naomi Scott?
Naomi Scott.
Yeah.
So in the trailer, like, all right, so we're used to Charlie's Angels being these badasses.
Yeah.
And they're already trained. They're everything. You know, they're like the James Bonds of the world. And then in this one, what's her name? I keep going away from the names. Ella. She is former MI6, according to the trailer, right? So it's very like similar. But the Naomi Scott, she's just like, we don't know yet because I haven't seen it, if she's like a tourist or I forget even the trailer, like if she traveled into her. She's not an agent, she's not like formally trained, but then because of whatever the plot is, they need her to stay within the team. They're teaching her everything. They show her the closet. These are all things you see in the trailer. I wonder, my theory is if she decided to not do that, if it may have, I wonder what the thing is, you know, what the reason why it didn't do so well. Is it because of the other films? I mean, there's so many variables.
I agree with Elizabeth Banks. Like, it wasn't going to hit the cinematic universe status because it just wouldn't. And it doesn't have, like, it has 3 like known names, but I can't say the biggest names.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, and Cameron Diaz.
Right.
And for this weekend, I know the reason we didn't see it was because I wanted to see Ford versus Ferrari more. And it wasn't that I didn't want it. I want to see Charlie's Angels. This is that in that day that we're like, okay, we have a few hours tonight. Like, I want to see that one.
Yeah.
So maybe it might also just been like, man, like bad timing for whoever scheduled
it could be.
I just want to see more Elizabeth Banks, to tell you the truth, just personally.
I love her as an actress. I just don't.
I love all her stuff.
But like, you got to wonder, like, what would have happened if this movie came out the same week as like a bunch of animated stuff or something, you know, like
if it had done better, yeah.
Because like, even though Ford versus Ferrari isn't an action movie per se, to me, it filled that like space of an action film because I can't wait for you to see it because like I'm not even like that much of a car buff.
Yeah.
And I felt the adrenaline. I felt like the sound design was so good. I'm talking about Ford versus Ferrari. The sound design was so good. I could smell the gasoline and stuff. It was just like going to be. I haven't even seen Charlie's Angels yet. And I'm going to tell you that Ford versus Ferrari was going to be a better movie. But like, it's not even the same camp. It's just happened to come out the same week.
And that's why that's one of those either like the trailer, and this has happened before in the past, to where like a trailer was just cut so poorly or it didn't like excite people enough. And that Ford versus Ferrari one, you watch it and you're like, dang, I want to see that movie. Like, you just do. I do too. And if you were to choose between that movie and Charlie's Angels, well, I guess goodbye, Charlie's Angels.
I thought the Charlie's Angels trailer was like good. It made me laugh and everything when I saw it, and it teased that song and everything that sounded good in the trailer. And then we actually heard the songs, like, ugh. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if the general public knows this, but like a different company cuts trailers than it does the films and stuff. So it might have been between that, because there's like, I forget what it is. There's documentaries about the trailer cutting companies and stuff, and they all admit to like, there's formulas that happen in like little 3 or 4 year stints. Yeah. They all adhere to. And like, it could have just been that, or like, there's like test audiences and stuff, which is like a curse, because we can't say which ones we've been in, but Vince and I have been in like a lot of test audiences. And I forget who it was. The guy who directed like Annabelle and Lights Out and all that stuff. Okay. He's still a YouTuber. He was a YouTuber. And then one of his shorts got discovered. Then he went on to do all these other movies and stuff. He still has a YouTube channel, and he does a cool video about test audiences and stuff. He's like, the problem is you have these people who feel like they have to say something, and they want to sound like a film critic, or they believe that they are a film critic, or something, you know. So they're like, well, in the second scene, the motivation of the third character was. And he's like, yeah, but did you like the movie? Like, but the third scene's character arc. And he's like, did you like the movie? You know, like. And so I want to say that, like, maybe like they cut something together and then they do a test audience. So like, I wanted to see more of this, and then they try to like add everybody's input into it. You know,
I have the fix. Elizabeth Banks, if she had the money again, she needs to do Charlie's Angels again, but revise it with Lenny Kravitz, her, and Woody Harrelson. The three of them as Charlie's Angels, but call it Hunger Angels. Because I liked all three of their characters in Hunger Games. So if she would just use, because they're three powerhouse names, and I would love to see Lenny Kravitz and Woody Harrelson as angels. That would be hilarious.
So before this podcast, I didn't know that it was only a $48 million budget. I mean, we say only $48 million, but it's still a lot of money. But for like an action movie these days, like I feel like $100 million is like minimum,
easy,
and all that stuff. So knowing that, like, holy crap! I mean, that when Elizabeth Banks says she's still proud of Charlie's Angels, I kind of get what she's saying. If she's actually proud of like the story and everything they accomplished with like less than $50 million in filming budget, then I think I would be proud too. Because it's like
really good.
Sorry.
I don't know what happened.
Same time.
I just
$50 million,
I was thinking of the Bubble Boy.
Oh, like you want
$500.
Yeah. But,
or what was it? The dude from Blue Streak or whatever, or Blue Streak, or what was that?
Blue Chips.
No, it was that weird streak movie. I can't remember the comedian's name. The black dude. He's like, you punk bitch. Oh, it was the one with Jackie Chan. I forget what that was called now, but $5 million.
But it isn't a lot of money comparatively to movies that it probably was meant to compete with.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually just even seeing the trailers, how many explosions and like stunts and stuff. Like, man, like they got away with a lot. So that's why I'm a little skeptical. I mean, Elizabeth Banks, I don't know her personally, so she might be kind of bitchy about this or not. But the couple times we saw her speak, she was pretty level headed about it. And that's
before she didn't have a movie crashing.
Yeah.
Well, even
like I
listening to her speak, you could tell that she just knew.
So the reason I brought all that up is because the article's coming out that she's like blaming this or that. Because I've literally seen Elizabeth Banks blames fill in the blank with like 3 or 4 different things in it. And it was like, well, like, are they all these things? Or are they all like interpolating different interviews or same interviews? I say that because like I just came across an article and a news report by Fox News, which I know is the most reputable news source on earth. Saying like the American Heart Association just had conclusive like research in 2019 that marijuana use is linked to strokes and heart arrhythmia. And I went to read it. So here's the thing: if you see people's reactions, you know that 99% of the time it's just the headline. So the people's reactions on Twitter were like, this is a lie, and then a lot of other people are like, I always knew it was going to poison you, like it's it kills everyone, blah blah blah. When you actually read the article, it's only a sample size of like 48,000, 50,000 people. Still a lot of people, but far from a conclusive. Usually these tests happen like way bigger. And this is, I think they were all in like 1 or 2 regions or like one college or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I actually read the report. All these people, so this was clearly set up because all these people who were smoking cannabis were also smoking tobacco on a regular basis.
Okay.
Like not even tobacco, like any kind, specifically cigarettes.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. And so but the top of the report was to report on marijuana use, but in the detailed report, it's marijuana and cigarette use. But the headline says marijuana use contributes to heart arrhythmia and strokes.
That sounds like sometimes when they get those like any kind of over the phone like questionnaires or whatever else, they like they'll word them like a certain way to where like, well, do you believe this or that? And like they word them in such a way to where like if you say this, you don't necessarily would never. They would reinterpret it like what you're saying with this the thing at the top, and you'd be like, I'd never say that. That was not what I was saying. And that's all sides. But
it's just kind of like correlation does not equal causation. And it's like not to say that might not be true, but like why didn't they do the same test without having people smoke cigarettes?
I saw like a bunch. I saw a bunch of interviews too that for this, and I was like, okay, so what you were telling me, like some of these interviews might have been before the movie came out, and so now they're just kind of rehashing them and whatnot. And I was like all ready to go and like blazing, like, you kidding me? Because she like one of them had said like she kind of blames the failure of this movie on men not wanting to come see a movie with female leads, and it's like, and unless it's a Marvel movie, and I was like, hold on, let me pull up like a billion frickin' movies that have female leads that men love that aren't over sexualized.
Yeah. I get it though. I mean, I hate to say this because I want to see Charlie's Angels, but even from like my male perspective, I can't speak for all male perspectives. In my list of priorities for this week, before I found out Ford versus Ferrari was coming out the same week, I was going to see Charlie's Angels. But then as soon as that one came in, like, that sounds much more interesting to me.
Yeah.
So
the reviews were coming in like it's amazing.
Maybe it wasn't that it definitely wasn't that I hated the movie. I fully intended to see the movie. It's just that in terms of like priority, it just got knocked down a peg for me. I mean, it was definitely more the midway. As much as I love Mandy Moore,
maybe it'll come right back, especially all of this bad press or whatever. I mean, also like there's a billion movies. I put down a bunch of movies over here that are basically cult classics now.
Oh yeah,
that bombed when they came out. Shawshank Redemption bombed when it came out. Office Space bombed when it came out. Fight Club bombed when it came out. The Thing, the old one, bombed when it came out. Super really bombed. Everybody loves that movie.
What was Super?
Mystery Man. It's the one with Dwight.
Oh, I never saw that.
Mystery Men. Love that movie amazingly. Classic. It bombed horribly.
Well, because there weren't enough superhero movies for it to parody, but it was the first parody of superhero movies.
Exactly. Like it was the first parody of like team up movies, and it was before there was like a team up. It came out before X-Men came out.
Oh wow.
Which was ridiculous to me. Iron Giant, which everybody like loves Iron Giant, as it's like an amazing, one of the last true animation movies that were just great. That bombed when it came out. So like, I mean, it could still be, it could still find a cult.
I see on your list, Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite Disney films of all time. And it tanked so bad it actually ended 2D animation for Disney.
Yeah, serious.
And then Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, arguably one of the best movies.
UHF. UHF, the Weird Al movie. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. It came out the same weekend of like 3 other huge movies. I think it was like The Last Crusade and like whatever else.
Donnie Darko.
Scott Barry. Donnie Darko was another one that basically it only recapped its money after like it had a huge cult following and DVD sales.
I understand
why. I
did
a paper on that movie in college.
I understand why though, because I actually watched it with our friend Nick Marks. He's the one that showed it to me on DVD because I had no interest in seeing it in the theater. Yeah. And on DVD he showed us the director's cut. And I don't know if I could have watched it without director's cut, because the director's cut had title cards between scenes, and just that tiny bit of information just gave all the context in the world. It added to that list. My favorite movie of all time, Christmas Story, complete commercial failure. And it wasn't even that big budget. But
I mean, afterward, now it's not, but
yeah. But
when it came out,
that opening weekend or whatever, it's a complete commercial failure. And I think they were planning on doing like a number of releases from the same book series.
What's the black and white movie that everybody, the Christmas one?
Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life. Huge commercial
Not
failure.
even a Christmas movie.
I mean, like it came out, but like it bombed so bad, and the only reason that it became like more of a Christmas movie was not until like the 70s and 80s when they started just replaying it all the time
at Christmas
time, or people were like, "Oh, it's a Christmas movie,"
because it does have the Christmas tree and it ends on the Christmas note. But the story wasn't meant to be an inspirational Christmas story. It was just about the dude's like suicide and life and everything.
Was Miracle on 34th Street? Was that color?
The original
there's
wasn't.
2 of them, yeah.
Yeah, the original wasn't, but they remade it in the 90s.
Yeah.
With what's her face? She was in Matilda.
I remember the old
guy
one
from Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
the Santa. I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, it's not.
I don't know.
It's not him.
No.
I mean, I'm gonna go on record and say that like I don't. Even though I haven't seen this movie, I don't predict Elizabeth Banks' Charlie's Angels to become one of those cult classics.
Yeah, there's just something when you read that list of names.
I maybe I'm wrong. I gotta go see it first. I'm gonna say all that first. I gotta say that see it first, but it just probably bad timing, and it probably, it's probably a good movie, probably not as good as to the two other things it's being compared to. It may not be as good as the other Charlie's Angels remake. There are two of them that were like kind of like the campy, like early 2000s masterpieces.
I'm right.
Chris, he was
94.
Santa.
That's hilarious.
Oh, was it the same dude?
It's the same dude.
Oh, no way.
I was like, oh man, I just must have got that wrong. No, I'm right.
Oh, that's because I was thinking of the old film.
The old, yeah, definitely not that. He'd be dead by then.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's dead now too. But
so the new Charlie's Angels is probably not as good a movie as like the 2000s, like kind of classic. Like I say classic because the 2000s Charlie's Angels kind of embodied all of the. You could show people the Charlie's Angels Drew Barrymore remakes and be like, basically everything 2000s movies did were in these movies.
yeah,
And it's not as good. It's probably not as good as the movie that debuted the same week as Ford versus Ferrari. Because man, that movie just like hit home on all levels.
Yeah, it's a really great movie.
let me show you the quick trailer, just to throw it back and forth here. So goofy that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is giving like Mortal Kombat 1 vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
This is like
It's got that Matrix
Tom
feel to
Green.
it.
this is when they were dating, right?
So long ago. This is 20 years ago.
Yeah, that
Reminds me of Police Academy or something like that.
Yeah.
No, it does, but it has everything from like late 90s, early 2000s. Like it'd be like that's it has Destiny's Child, like that's all those things. I mean, like I don't.
Does
I
that
don't-
not look like a more entertaining, at least trailer, than the newer trailer?
I just felt like they were different. When I saw the new Charlie's Angels trailer, I was like, I'm gonna go see that. I thought that was funny, But I thought the part that I thought was funny was you tricked me into liking Kristen Stewart, and then she was like, I'm just the distraction, and then the other girls came out like, oh, that was pretty clever, But I don't know what the movie's gonna be like. Also, I just remembered when we were talking about it being $48 million. Something Elizabeth Banks had said. She didn't say that it was a tax write-off or something like that, but she did say that she was in a meeting for another movie at Sony, and literally on her way out, whoever she was in the meeting with, like, also we have Charlie's Angels we have to renew, so this might have just been keep the rights movie.
To it. Yeah.
But she genuinely tried to do her best with it.
Yeah.
But for the studio, maybe the reason it was under 50 million was because they were like, this is what we have at the end of the year or something, I don't know. I still want to see it though. Like this thing, I feel bad about talking about it so much and not actually
without
seeing
actually
it.
seeing it.
Like
There
to
was
know
a-
what to talk about.
There was like, and I'm probably way off, but there was a vibe I was getting from her when she at AT&T Shape when she's talking about it, and it was right after she had just talked about like changing up or having to add herself into the movie just because the writers at the time, I'm not gonna, but the writers at the time had the idea wrong, and she was like, I'm going to step in, I'm going to do this right. So it was, off of this conversation, I just got this whole vibe, not from that conversation, but from like overall that she knew it was going to be tough, like super tough for her. And she even like went as far as to tell us like a lot of great information, but with the overtone of this is a very tough, hard job, and like she does it very well, and she's very organized, and the things that she has lined up, and her team and everything is crazy to hear all of what was happening at the time. And yeah, that's when she had said something about like she was walking out, and they had said, hey, we have Charlie's Angels.
And okay, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on again because I don't actually think this is what happens, but I want to kind of say 1% of me is going to put out there in the universe this is possible, so that if it comes out later that it was right, it's like, oh, okay, part of me thought that might have happened. She did communicate that she pissed off a lot of people along the way to make the movie that she wanted to make, just the way Hollywood works.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody shut that down systematically.
I thought that one of the articles that I was reading said that the marketing wasn't so good, or wasn't like.
It was non-existent.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it came out this week.
So you could be right with that. I don't know.
And maybe the trailer was cut in a weird tone or something, or maybe that's why the
Or maybe
budget
movies
was so
shot in
low.
a weird tone. I mean, like if it's not goofy and funny like that, I mean, especially with something that like it's a 70s. You watch those old 70s shows; they're hilarious.
Because the example she gave us was that she had a team of, she didn't name them, but male writers that were very like high profile in Hollywood. And they wrote a scene, and they basically kind of underplayed the woman for like no reason at all. Like I mean, I get like not trying to like.
What are you talking about? The helicopter scene, right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
or a plane scene.
Yeah.
You know, I get not trying to force any like diversity into something, but she's saying there was this scene where Charlie's Angels, like, and people probably heard this like months ago when we originally talked about this, but they got stuck in an airfield and then they have to bribe some guy to like fly them away, and then she was like, "That's cool, but like, they're Charlie's Angels, so if they want to fly the plane, they're gonna fly the fucking plane." And I was like, and I imagine if she actually delivered it with that amount of aggression,
Yeah.
she probably pissed some people off. So I don't know who's connected to who, you know, like, because I mean, we've kind of seen it firsthand, you know, with other things, like someone's pissed somebody off and they just happen to be connected to the guy doing marketing or cutting something or somebody in the editorial or post process, that all they got to do is slide a finger and then it could just like set things on a more difficult path. If,
Yeah.
You know, if
Not a finger. Sorry.
yeah.
You'd want to think too that they were probably trying to get away from the like, because this other older version of this 2000s version was pretty sexualized. So like, from me seeing this new trailer at least, and not seeing the movie, of course, it seems like they're downplaying the sexualization of it, which
Yeah. I don't
almost
know.
was like born into that series in the 70s. You know.
I have to see because I didn't see enough from the trailer. They definitely didn't play up like you could stick it in my slot jokes or
Yeah,
anything like that. But like, I thought that they were going to go more into it when they started off with Kristen Stewart like seducing a guy, and it didn't. Yeah, it didn't quite go there. But I don't know. The trailer actually didn't tell me much about like what was going to happen. It just kind of like.
Also, the one girl was creating something.
Well, it's the one girl's MI6, and then the other MI6 is that the right one?
Yep.
Is
And then
British.
the other one was like a cat burglar,
Yeah,
and then the new one was we don't know yet.
she was like a computer person where she was creating something that like if someone gets a hold of it, just like in this other trailer,
They'll
someone gets a hold of
weaponize
this
it.
weaponized thing, we're gonna get them, and then like that's when they kind of take off to where like they have to run away and get whatever.
Man, I would actually love to be surprised, go see this movie and be like, cult classic. Oh my God, why does nobody notice this? You know, because like in my eyes, what could make it that way is if they like played up these kind of like archetypes, like, oh, she's got the floppy disk that's going to destroy the world, you know, or something. Like,
Yeah,
I would love that actually. And they're like, floppy disk, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
because in the early 2000s, late 90s, yeah, everybody knows like that floppy disk could have like destroyed or saved the world, you know.
Yeah.
And then what was it like halfway through the 2010s? It was like that USB drive, and now it's like Ultron.
well, even with the Spider-Man thing, remember the USB?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the USB thing. Like what the?
you can tell that was written a little bit
Or
before.
Mission Impossible, remember the first one? Like the computer's making this really high pitched sound, and like everybody's gonna know we're here. Like, oh come on, dude, this can't happen physically. But anyway,
So that's that.
we've done enough pontificating about a movie we haven't seen yet.
Right.
Like true critics.
I just hope for the best. That's all.
I do want to see it. I want to see it sometime this week.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want to watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
just
I probably won't be able to watch it, but definitely when we come back next week, you guys give us a deal of what happened.
Yeah, that and
I don't know when I want to watch it.
Dollar Theater.
Maybe.
Oh, we have A-list. It's
That's true,
still
you guys
free.
have
Free A-list. So yeah, we just
So can see it
go.
whenever.
All these other movies are coming out though. I mean, like Frozen and all this other crap.
I'm not gonna rush out to see Frozen.
Really?
I am.
I'm gonna, dude. We can
No,
go see it, Vince. You and me.
Well, Josh has
the
3
girls.
daughters, so
I do. Penny is a
I'll
huge Frozen
chaperone.
fan right now, except for this week she started watching Tangled, and now she loves Tangled, which is my favorite.
good choice though.
Tangled is my favorite Disney
I
princess
finally
movie.
watched
Oh
that.
yeah, mine's
Yeah.
mine's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I never saw it, and I watched it on the plane.
Tangled.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I really like Mandy Moore, so that kind of just like biased it anyway. But also it was like kind of
It's fun.
yeah, and it was less like questionable motives, you know.
I feel like it gives the
previous.
guy something to do.
Yeah, like
know-
he's more than just like I'm gonna kiss you when you're unconscious.
You're like, hi, I'm just here. You can marry me when we're done with
Yeah.
this thing. Like, okay, bye. Yeah. Even with like Beauty and the Beast, like the Beast is actually there for a while, and he does some like character change, but like the focus isn't really on him.
It's about Belle's like kind of character development.
But like with Flynn,
True.
it's about both. You know,
Yeah,
Flynn
yeah.
Rider. You know, like
I do something I did appreciate about. I saw Frozen later on in like a Redbox or a friend brought it over or something like that. So for me, like it's one of those things I can see it in Dolby Cinema,
yeah,
or at home, and they'll have the same effect for me and stuff. I did appreciate in the first one that they kind of played on the you can't just marry this guy you met yesterday thing. And I was like, okay, I appreciate that. And at the end, it was like two sisters were like the reward for each other instead of like like a guy. I know,
dude.
I know there ended up still being a guy involved, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff, but like it wasn't like,
But he just got a kiss.
yeah. But I mean, but he wasn't like the prize for her. Like
Exactly.
it wasn't Elsa's motivation. You know,
It wasn't even for Elsa. It was Anna's guy.
yeah. Well, but then he ended up being evil. You know, like.
Well, yeah.
But like,
No, I was talking about the other dude.
oh, gotcha.
I can't remember. Is it Sven? Is that him or is that
The moose?
Moose?
Oh yeah.
What's the other guy's name?
I honestly can't remember anybody's name.
Gaston?
That's how much I remember about these movies. But like it was pretty decent, and it kind of showed like an anti-hero, you know. Like I guess before Idina Menzel voiced Elsa, she was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
And then when
She kind of still was.
she performed "Let It Go," and they were like, we have to change this hero's journey, you know, like for her
They're
to like because they said the song was so powerful. It's like that's not the song of a villain.
Yeah.
You know, that's the song of somebody who's like going through something.
Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, I am interested in seeing what the big song out of this one is. Because I looked at the soundtrack, it is effing weird.
I heard this one song that they're playing, and I was like, "This sounds like a bad song."
There's
like,
so I looked at the soundtrack today. I was at the store, and it had Weezer and Panic at the Disco on it, and one
that's got to be like just the soundtrack that's like.
I mean, they're
not in the movie.
They're the new
right?
versions of it, but the fact that like. Those were the art because okay, so the first movie Demi Lovato was "Let It Go," the pop version.
Yeah, but that's in the end.
Which
yeah,
ironically, like the movie version got more popular than the
Exactly.
pop version, but it still kind of gave you a clue in, like what the song. You know, it's like that's the kind of vibe. You know, like "Let It Go" was still like a big power ballad at the end of the day.
Yeah,
both ways.
But like it's more orchestral. I feel like the one good thing about the Frozen movie was that "Let It Go" song and the other songs too, but they were more orchestral based as opposed to like Disney in this last decade just being like a straightforward pop for every other song that they're doing. So
Yeah.
and that's why that "Let It Go" song was so huge. It was more of like a throwback to like Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And
But what I'm saying is the pop version, the performer kind of gave you a clue into like what the original version was.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Demi Lovato's was the pop update to, it wasn't like it for me. It would have been weird to be like "Let It Go," also by Marilyn Manson. Like
It's okay. Now I get where
so
you're
like
going.
Demi Lovato's like
Panic at the
okay,
Disco.
they have like a power ballad singer. Like,
Yeah.
and so the original was also power ballad, but like more or less musical theater. So this one is Weezer, Panic at the Disco, and Casey Musgraves.
Okay.
So Casey
Yeah, I
Musgraves,
can see Casey, but
maybe, but it looks like based on like I don't know, and when the movie comes out I could be proven totally wrong, but it looks like the song called "Into the Unknown" is going to be their flagship song.
which is the one I was like, that doesn't sound like a very good song to me.
Okay, so that's what it looks like, because that was what was on the sticker, in big letters
Yeah.
and stuff, and that is the one that Panic at the Disco does in the pop version. So it just makes me like
But I heard like some of the movie version of that, and every time I hear it, like a clip or whatever they play, I'm like, it just doesn't sound like a very good song.
But that's what's weird is like, what song could bridge the gap between Idina Menzel and Panic at the Disco?
Okay.
It's like, so, because in my head, there's a short bridge between Idina Menzel and Demi Lovato. It's a distance, but it's like not so far off I could never believe it happened,
Yeah.
I don't know what song is the common denominator between Idina Menzel and Panic at the Disco,
That's
like,
true.
So I was like, what kind of song is this? I don't know.
So maybe the pop version will be much better, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I think it's more evidence that it may not live up to expectations because the first song was so big, but also made more sense. And this new one doesn't, without hearing it and just seeing like the two names attached to it, or like, this doesn't seem like, it seems like it's gonna be too much of a compromise.
All I know is
be
they've had
that strong.
at least 5 or 6 years since the first one, right?
Something like that.
That
Yeah.
would be more than that, to be honest, because I think Naomi, who's now 13, my daughter, I think it came out when she was about Penny's age.
Jesus. In my heart, it feels like it was last year, but I know that it was probably like a decade ago.
It was probably 2012.
13.
Okay.
Wow.
Really close. So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah. So she was 7. Yeah.
So 6 years isn't as bad as I thought.
Nah,
Okay.
I thought worse too.
Because I always think like, oh yeah, that came out last year. It was 10 years ago, Rod.
Yeah. Charlie's Angels. Why are they just released one of those
Yeah, right.
20 years earlier?
Well, I was trying to remember the name of the second one, and it was Full Throttle.
Yeah,
I told
Full Throttle.
I told Vince, I was like, oh, maybe it's Reloaded or something like that. Full Throttle.
Full throttle.
Well, I should have known Full Throttle, more sexual innuendo.
Exactly.
But like, when was that? Was that a little closer.
Well, it's probably because the first one was 2000. That one was probably like 2004 or 2003. It was like not too far after all those American Pies, you know?
God.
Yeah.
Because, you know, all the Blink-182 style sexual innuendo weirdness.
Wait, I'm just seeing the pictures from the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Now I get these references being in California. They have hot dog on a stick and stuff. Huh. Okay. Anyway, I got some rewatching to do.
You gotta rewatch the Full Throttle.
I mean, I liked those movies when they came out. Like to this day, that's another tough thing. Is even though Ariana Grande, like I like her as an artist, man, that's a heavy order to like curate an updated playlist because that Destiny's Child soundtrack was so iconic to those first films. Like you ask anybody that lived through the early 2000s and stuff, like independent women, I don't care if you were a fan of country music or pop music, like you knew that song and you didn't hate it because it just had like doom doom doom. I was like, I don't want to like. She was able to say the three leads' name in the intro, and I didn't think it was cheesy. So like, I don't want to compete with that. Like,
yeah.
Like if somebody was like, "Hey Rod, you're gonna curate the new Frozen soundtrack." Nope.
No, I'm not.
Nope. Next one.
No, I don't think I will.
Not
because,
this guy.
Because they're like, you don't like it. I'm like, no, I think it's fine. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna try to like let it go.
Right?
Yeah, that's
do something better than
6
that.
years. They better do something just at least on the same level. You know,
scary as crap. That's like if they're like, okay, we're gonna update Little Mermaid. You're gonna write the new part of your world. No,
Nope.
that's fine. I'm not gonna do that.
Hard pass.
Because I know as a kid I wasn't supposed to like that movie because 90s were a weird time. But or is that 80s?
No,
that was
90s.
Okay, because some of that stuff was early 80s, or late 80s. I mean. Actually, I think Little Mermaid was like 89.
Might have been 89, yeah.
Yeah. It was a good song. Like, it was like, I don't know how it is to be a mermaid with long hair that's never seen a hairbrush before. But like, man, they made me feel like I did. So anyway.
This is almost 2 hours long.
I would hate for that to.
Holy moly.
I would hate for that to be the competition. So.
All right, dudes, we gotta close up this one. This is a really long one, but you know,
Two-parter.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of connected stuff, but
maybe it could work.
Suspense.
Let us know. No, just playing.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been seeing some pretty good growth here in the podcast lately. I thank you guys for signing up and subscribing. If you guys haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do so via. I see a lot of people using Podbean as the app, and then the people after that are generally using Apple. And if you're using anything else, I mean, I use other stuff too, but like, yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe so that you get stuff in your box every week when this comes out Wednesday.
Review some stuff.
Yeah, Podbean has a review thing, and Apple definitely has a review thing, so definitely helps.
And we'll catch you next time on Yellow Spandex.